Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Stream of Chaos. My name is James, and I am the keeper for this game of Shadows Over Stillwater, which is a Call of Cthulhu campaign set in the Down Darker Trails setting, which is Call of Cthulhu in the Wild West. I am joined, as I always am, by this cast of wonderful people. Let's have them introduce themselves. Jackson, do you want to go first?
I sure would. Hey, I'm Jackson. I'm playing U.S. Marshal Jeremiah MacDonald. When last we met, he was considering, but not yet fully on board with deputizing one of the members of the party. But he'll speak to that, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's a big decision, pulling in another deputy after what happened to your last one, but it's an important decision.
Yeah, last one.
Last several. Exactly. Daniel.
Hey, I'm Daniel. I'm playing old aging mountain man Griff Gutherson. And last time we saw me, I was getting a lot more anxious as I saw my quarry upon the horizon. But that will become clear as we play.
Exactly. You are closing in on someone that you've been hunting for a very long time. Art, what about yourself?
Hey, I'm Art. I am playing Dr. Joseph Waite, and the last we saw Dr. Joseph, he was having a nice long nap and feels a lot better now.
Well, yeah, at least in some ways. Now, Dave, what about you?
Yeah, g'day, I'm Dave, and most recently, I've shot someone, and I'm going to be rewarded for it with a shiny deputy badge.
Shooting people has never gone badly. Now, for those of you who have not joined us previously, we play all of our campaigns, all of our sessions are available to watch on YouTube, so you can catch up there. But for those of you who need a little reminder right away, our investigators are tracking down the members of the Green-Eyed Gang, which is a group of outlaws that they all have a personal vendetta against. They have gone across the entire breadth of New Mexico, gradually tracking down these people and finding out all of these strange conspiracies and sordid affairs that they were involved in that related to serpent people and bizarre experiments in the depths of mines. And fortunately, they've managed to put to rest 3 members of the Green-Eyed Gang, which means that there are only 2 remaining, and of course, their mysterious leader. So we're going to jump back in the town of let me just double check.
San Rafael?
San Rafael, yes. In Sullivan's
I'm
Gap.
paying attention.
You're already there. You're way ahead of me. I looked and I was like, that is so similar to all of the other towns that start with Sun that I just had to double check. And it's been a couple of days. The collection of you have been recovering. Now, while not too many of you were seriously physically hurt because of your expertise in dealing with the horrific situation, some of you have been dealing with more emotional damage, or at least psychological damage, from the terrible things that you have witnessed. So we're going to leave Doc for last, but I would like everybody else to tell me basically what you've been doing for a couple of days in San Rafael to kill time. Assume 3 or 4 days to rest and recuperate before you get back on the trail.
Well, I've got something. Does anyone?
Yeah.
I'll just go.
Go for it.
So, Griff, who previously has lived a pretty he never liked to smoke or drink because he saw it as a bit of, he liked to live pretty naturally, but after the most recent event, he has taken up drinking once more, not to excess, but just noticeably a change in his previous restrictions, I guess.
Years of sobriety out the window, and you suddenly find yourself once again hooked on a crutch to get through the day. Do you think that Griff takes well to a life of excess? Do you think that he's able to manage his drink?
I don't think he drinks to excess. It's just noticeable that he didn't drink before and now he does.
Okay.
He is not using it to get through the day, but and he's not drunk all the time or anything, but he is drinking once more to sort of take the edge off.
All right, that's good to know. On the side of the law and the almost law, Grease and Mac, what are the two of you doing?
I would care to know whether those bandits turn themselves in as requested.
They absolutely did. You
Fantastic.
so thoroughly terrified Elvin, Frank, and Nellie that they were quick to present themselves at the local station for your reprimands, and they are hoping that you'll be true to your word and put in a little recommendation that maybe their sentences be slightly more lenient.
I will. I'll be over the days. I'll be preparing the messages back and forth with relevant authorities to come and pick them up and process them. And I will stay true to my word. I'll make sure. I'll just say that they helped us take down some other kind of no good nick in the mine, and leave it at that. We don't need any eldritch details.
All right. Now, you have very recently put in a good word to make sure that a friend of yours didn't have the law hot on their heels. Blanca,
That's
the
true.
outlaw, was able to forget her past because of a few good words that you put in. So you were starting to use your reputation a little bit here to bend the rules.
Oh,
I'd like
yikes.
to make a law check to see if this is going to go through. But since you have so recently attempted to assist one of your friends, the check is going to be hard.
That is fine, and I don't have strong feelings about these guys. I'll be honest.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But I'll do it anyway.
Feelings
Outstanding.
damned.
Okay.
You don't even try. You're just writing a letter. You're like, if this goes through, and then they're like, yeah, absolutely, Mac. We'll do whatever you want. Okay.
You timed it perfectly once again to make sure that it went through and the clerk at the desk would be out drinking. And you know that these folks are going to get all of their paperwork sent through and will probably have reduced sentences as a result. All right,
Excellent.
good to know. So that leaves you, Grease.
This is a pretty small town, right?
It's very small. Yeah, really only a couple of families.
Okay. When we first came through, I was pretty excited to let him know that I was going to be bringing back one of the criminals and I was seeking retribution and everything. But I don't know. There's something about once it's done, I'm not as excited by it anymore. I think I'm a little bit not mopey, but just sort of quieter than I might normally be. If Mac needs a hand with anything, I'll follow along. I'm going to avoid Griff for the most part. He's not as fun as he used to be.
Yeah, I see.
I'll also, I suppose if I can do any, if I can ask around about any of the other members of the Green-Eyed Gang, I'll do that. But I don't know if there's Backwater Town. I doubt they'd know too much about it.
This is pretty out of the way, and I won't make you roll, but you ask a couple of questions and you're not going to get very much information. The thing is, though, since you are asking around the town, that makes you the most immediately accessible member of the group, which means that after a day or two in town, you do get approached by Mary Lou, the partner of one of the now dead folks up at the mine, who is going to desperately, through tear-stained cheeks, ask you if everyone is okay and if there are any other survivors, and no one will tell her what happens, and she just needs to know.
I would have assumed that the sheriff or someone would have spoken to you, but if he ain't here, I'll tell you. Listen, we headed up to the mine, and there wasn't something devastating must have happened. There ain't a body left alive, and the whole place is, salted earth. Nothing there but turmoil, pain. I'd advise you don't go near it, but I'm afraid your love's dead, as are his brothers. I don't think they're likely to come back. Could I have grabbed a single nugget of silver or something while we were up there that I pocketed that I can give to her and say,
Absolutely.
listen, it ain't much or nothing, but I don't know. I hope you can find some peace with it. We bet. Oh, fuck, we didn't even bury them. We left their heads on spikes. Griff, you dick. I think I go to say, at least they've found peace. And then I clam up and I go red. And I realize that, their bodies have been fairly sacrilegious.
pecked out by the birds by now, you're sure.
And I think I choke the next few words, make an excuse, and hurry away. And I will avoid her as much as I can for the next few days while we're in town.
Fair enough. Can I get you to make a persuade check? It's not going to be with disadvantage because you didn't bring back a chunk of silver, but it is not going to be with a bonus die because, you did not bury the bodies very nicely.
Could I say charm because it's more being friendly than getting a point across?
Okay. Yep. Charm is also entirely reasonable.
Ka-chow. You can have 5 points of luck.
Okay, thank you very much. So you do manage to bring some peace to Mary Lou, and you spend the next couple of days avoiding her, but she's also avoiding you because she doesn't want to have to relive any of the sad conversation the two of you had.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we know what everybody else was doing. We're going to jump across to Doc. Now, you wake up and begin to reemerge into life and the waking world, at least so far, relatively normally. You have these terrible memories of the visions that you saw when you collapsed inside the cavern deep below the ground. And when you sleep, you are bothered by consistent nightmares. But your mundane life appears to tick on as it normally would. Occasionally, you have these sudden moments of sheer fright. Your character art is clean shaven. I assume that Doc is clean shaven most of the time. All right.
You can manage.
Fantastic. So you're shaving at one point, and suddenly you nick yourself, but instead of blood, surges forward this black, horrible liquid that begins to crawl across your face, and you blink terrified, but then it's gone. And you have a couple of other moments like that when suddenly this terror and this unknown entity is invading your mind, but it's all fragments and it's all shattered little bits of information. I'm going to get you to make a couple of rolls, but first of all, I'd like to know how the Doc's feeling. What's in the Doc's mind? What's in the Doc's heart?
I think I have been remiss in my research of late. I have some artifacts I've been holding on to for a while that I really should have looked into by now. And I think perhaps the reason why I feel so at odds is there's unsolved mysteries, and my brain don't like that too much. So
fair enough. So you are finding some kind of focus and pulling yourself towards your work, specifically the elements of your work that you might have been neglecting before.
Yeah, specifically, I believe I have some snake tablets.
You do. You have some snake tablets, which I think well and truly need some study. So can you please make for me a Narcal test for the decoding of the language? And can I also get you to make a sanity test for me? As you continue to lose sanity. Oh, excellent. As you continue to lose sanity, your visions and your connection with the being that you experienced is going to change. But for now, it's at the back of your mind. It's held back by the fragile walls of your mental fortitude for the time being. All right. Okay, so with sanity success, I just want you to take 1 point of sanity damage. And with a hard success on Narcal, oh, that's fantastic. I think that you are going to manage to decode these discs enough to formally be able to access them as a tome. You can now, by studying them, by looking through them, and you have to apply various lenses to stare through at them and gaze deep into the recess of the stone, as if you can suddenly open them up into chambers that are filled with all kinds of different hieroglyphics to study. But there's so much here, and there is probably magic contained within it in some way. It's going to take you weeks to study, but mechanically, the Narcal tablets are now being studied by you as a tome. So I would like you to very briefly make an intelligence test for me. And I believe that you have a pulp talent that might help you with this.
Sure do.
Okay, fantastic.
I believe.
Magic. Give me the tome.
1 moment. Thank you. Sharp-witted. I am, in fact, sharp of the wit. I get a bonus die when making intelligence, but not idea rolls.
Okay.
So let me. We'll see. We'll have to see if the bonus actually works this time.
Yes.
Now that looks.
Fingers crossed. That looks like an 86, but it's actually.
Nope.
Ah, damn.
Oh. So just roll a. Yep.
I'll be a 36, which is a hard success.
Okay,
Nice,
so
nice.
you are well and truly on the way to decoding these things, and they appear to be, this is almost like this is the Grey's Anatomy of snake doctoring. So you feel like you're reading a textbook. You're suddenly back at university, and you're having a great time. It's just that the biology that you're learning about is completely alien to you, and instead of talking about natural sciences, it's very unnatural science. But still, it's learning, and you're pretty good at learning. So that's basically what everyone's been up to for the last couple of days. And as the collection of you begin to formally recover and you're sort of looking what you're going to do next, Grease, you were asking around about the Green-Eyed Gang. You were trying to figure out where you're going to go. You discover that the Green-Eyed Gang this time is going to come to you. A messenger arrives in San Rafael coming from Stillwater. And after talking with the sheriff, you're all going to be called into the sheriff's office where the large man is sort of sitting, looking a little bit nervous. He nods at you all as you come in and says, sorry to disturb you all, but I have some news I have to share with all of you.
Well, go
That ain't a
ahead.
problem.
Do I have to be there?
No, you do not have to be there if you
Then
would
I'm
not like
not.
to. Okay, perfect.
I am working on these things until someone drags me away.
Absolutely fair enough. You are consumed with your research, and you have no time to toss towards frivolous matters like the Green-Eyed Gang's position at this time. You might be able to dive into it later, but for the time being, yeah. So the three of you take a seat, and the sheriff is going to say, we got a message coming through from Stillwater, and the messenger was heading on after you, passed through Santa Rosita as well, and it was the authorities there that were able to give him your location. And just a quick message coming through saying that well, it was for it was for you, Mr. Griff, and he calls you Griff. Do you go by your last name ever, or otherwise he'll just call you Mr. Griff?
He goes by his last name from occasionally. Like if anyone said it, he would be like Palmer Griff, but people call him Mr. Gutherson. Like it's known that that's his last name.
Well, it's after you, Mr. Gutherson. It's well, apparently y'all had some kind of conversation with the media some time ago, and well, you know that the story of y'all hunting down the Green-Eyed Gang has been spread throughout the West, and well, it seems that one of the members is not so happy with what you've been doing. So, well, there was an attack on Stillwater. A couple of people were killed, a few houses got burnt down, and as they was riding off, they said it was a gift for Griff Gutherson. And then, well, same thing done happened in Santa Rosita, says the messenger. The authorities, Sheriff Valentine down in Santa Rosita wants to speak with you, but I think someone's hunting you. Doesn't want you to hunt them this time.
Yeah, I reckon he knows that I'm better at hunting him than he is me, I guess. I don't know if that made any sense. Well, do you any idea where he's headed next? If he's headed here, we can prepare for him. But,
well, I don't know. Maybe Valentine has more information down in San Rafael. Down in Santa Rosita, but
yeah, I ain't gonna be caught with my pants down. All right, boys. Looks like we're saddling up again. Are you fellas with me?
Well, what if he does make it here? Well, why don't you tell us exactly what we're up against here, Griff?
Oh, he is a bastard of a man. Not truly a man to be sure. He's got a way about him, more beast than man. He's a man of no mercy. He will take lives as he sees fit. If we could meet him without collateral damage, that would be the best case. If he comes here, he's probably going to be caught. There might be innocents caught between the fires, you know?
This is the sheriff says, kind of leaning in, and this is, or the stories say this is the Mr. Smythe man, Elijah Smythe. Right.
Can't imagine it's anyone else.
Well, look, with all due respect, if he is after the collection of you, then he got no reason to come. He got no reason to come to San Rafael unless y'all are here. And Marshal, I'm sure you understand. Your presence here could put people at risk.
Yeah, that follows. It seems like us breezing through here has put you at risk, and, well, for that there's no excuse. You have our apologies.
Well, we can we'll keep real quiet and keep an eye on the road and make sure that nobody comes in as best we can. Maybe if y'all could make yourselves known to be in Santa Rosita, that might assist us.
Well, that'll be fine.
Maybe don't go spreading around that we was ever here.
But they already found us here. Is this messenger still around?
Yeah, the messenger has gone to the bar for a drink, and you can have a brief word with them. But they are basically bringing a letter that was sent to you by some folks in Stillwater, passed through Santa Rosita, and spoke to Valentine. So this person is not. It's someone that you recognize them loosely as having been in the the cantina when you were there during the assault on the walls of Stillwater, but they're nobody that you had a detailed relationship with. And
so they
don't have
came
much to say.
From Stillwater over to Santa Rosita, and they made their way to San Rafael.
Yeah, they knew you were in Santa Rosita, so they went to Santa Rosita, and in Santa Rosita they got the news. Oh, you moved to San Rafael.
I mean, we were there for a while with all that quarantine, day or so at least. Griff, I mean, this gentleman, what's his modus operandi? Is he gonna sit up high and pluck people off, or ride in hooping and hollering with torches and such? I just want to know how we're gonna handle this.
To be frank, I ain't never seen him do his business. All I know is the aftermath, and I can tell you for certain that ain't pretty.
I mean, I just wonder, we got a whole string of useless sheriffs we've been slowly meeting. What, ain't real handy, but they can probably hold a rifle. We're already down a member. It might be useful to get a bit of a larger posse together if we're gonna. I mean, if he's gonna be traveling in force, only seems right that we do the same. Otherwise, though, if you reckon he's gonna be set up somewhere by himself, we can just try and sneak around and grab the bastard by surprise.
Yeah, I have a strong feeling the more people get caught up in this, he'll hear us coming,
I mean, he's gonna know we're coming regardless.
I don't frankly like that idea. What?
He's making a scene of it. He already knows you're coming, and he knows you. He knows starts threatening folks. He's gonna shake you out. He's gonna make a scene of this, whatever it is. You're already playing his game. It's just, do we try and shift anything, get the advantage for ourselves?
Yeah, only I don't know how rightly to do that. Maybe he expects us to come in blazing. Maybe he expects us to come in sneaky like. I don't know what he expects. So it's hard for me to do the opposite.
Well, maybe we just go back and talk to
Valentine.
He's going to tell us what he's up to.
They found we were where we were somehow. I reckon Valentine might have been the one that gave up the information. And we always suspected there were more folks around there, lizards masquerading as humans.
That don't mean that the lizards are working with him.
Suppose not, but it's strange to think of them as allies or anything else but enemies.
Yeah. I think Valentine is indeed our port of call, or at least our next one. He can lend us some support should we need it. Yeah, I suggest we go talk to him.
All right. Well, someone better go get the doc. I ain't seen him in a day and a half anyway. Left food outside his room.
Who's going to go get the doc? All right, looks like Mac.
See you,
You are
Marshall.
going to go and get the doc.
I guess I am. Someone's going
All
to do
right.
it.
Mac, so you head up across to the small saloon inside the town and up to one of the rooms upstairs where you know the doc is staying. You knock and come inside. Doc, can you give us some kind of insight into your mind here? How do you set up a room when you are completely focused on your work, when you are going to be staying up all night, diving into the mysteries of the world? What does the space around you begin to look like?
Like a theater set up for surgery. Place for everything in its place. It's clean, it's neat. Everything is where I need it. Because if it isn't and I need it, there's a chance that someone's gonna die if I don't have it. So everything is at my fingertips and like pretty. If anyone has seen Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot and the way that he lines everything up like perfectly, it's borderline that. He's in this realm meticulous.
Fantastic. I absolutely love it. So you walk inside, Mac, and you can see this pristine room that was, it was a little dusty when you came in. It was nice and comfortable, but it's been like stripped bare and everything's been put to one side except for the tools that are needed, which have been laid out on a stripped down bed. It's a little bizarre.
Been busy, Doc?
Yeah, I have.
Well, we're gonna roll out soon if that suits you.
Sorry, what?
Well, it seems like one of the other members of the Green-Eyed Gang chasing us down is attack Stillwater, attack Santa Rosita. Sheriff Valentine wants to see us before he finds us. As long as we stay here, we're putting these fine folks in danger, I'm afraid.
I don't entirely want to be taken away from... No, all right. I think that's a good idea.
I mean, if it behooves you to leave your stuff here, that's come back for it later, that'd be fine, but seems like we got a pressing matter.
I'd prefer to have my things with me. I'll pack up and meet you downstairs as soon as I'm ready.
Alrighty.
Oh, Mac,
Mm-hmm.
what happened to those 3 outlaws?
Well, I kept my word. I said they helped us take down some no good uns. Reckon I'll get off a little bit lightly.
All right. I'll be down in a little while.
Okay, fantastic. So you leave the doc to his business and clomp down the wooden stairs, brushing through outside, and the collection of you gather up your things. And...
While they're gone, while Mac has gone to get the doc, he leaves me and Grease alone, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
As he does, we're sort of saddling up the horses and stuff, and I at one point I pull out my my massive sort of buffalo gun, 50 caliber gun. Hoist it. I like pull it back and I'm sort of cleaning it and fiddling with it a little bit. As I do, I pull out one of the big long bullets. I hold it up to Grease and I say,
You know why I use this, right?
Because it splatters folk.
Not exactly. What it does is it kills things. It doesn't make them suffer. Animals, they deserve a quick death, something to put them out of their pain as quickly as possible. Even coyotes and wolves, they're just trying to survive. They're not evil or vindictive. They deserve this gun. So listen to me when I tell you that Elijah Smythe does not deserve this gun. Elijah Smythe will receive the punishment that monster deserves. And I tap my big woodman's axe. I say, that should let you know who we are dealing with. And I turn my back. I have nothing else to say.
Phenomenal. You continue to pack up your things. Grease, you mentioned that you had seen a change come over Griff. From an outsider's perspective, from someone who, Griff can only give so much insight into his own mental state, what do you see has changed about him? He's not as fun. What does that mean?
Yeah, it used to be good for a laugh. You could prod him and he'd say something or react. Now he just brushes you off or distracts himself. He's clearly focused on something else. I think as I'm loading up the horses and I go through some of the saddlebags, I spot some of the alcohol as well. And even though it's not, it's not the worst of vices, I've seen Doc Waite when he's in his cups. I think I'm aware of the kind of effect that we have. Mate, you spent several days asleep. I think I'm aware of the effect that it's going to have, and I see it taking root in another friend, but I don't do anything. I just close it back up. I'm keeping an eye on him, I suppose.
Okay, fantastic. It's a collection of you gather up your things, saddle up, and unless any of you want to make any other preparations, Mac, there is that other coat in the general store if you want to pick it up. No,
he looks
okay.
so good in this one.
Why would he need another one?
Again, I want to read it. He looks real good.
Yeah, we all. That's never been in question.
I got a coat.
In which case, you all saddle up, ride out of San Rafael, and get on the road towards Santa Rosita, leaving the memory of Sullivan's Gap and the Clegger Mine behind you. Well, most of you. Some of you will not be able to forget exactly what you saw down there. But anyway, let's move on to Santa Rosita. Now, the town is a couple of days' travel away. The collection of you prepared some equipment, and luckily your equipment hasn't been damaged in any way. You got out of the last scenario pretty physically unscathed, so you're able to make the journey across in relative comfort. Are you flying towards the town, trying to get there as quickly as possible to stop anything bad from happening? Or is this kind of more of a wary trudge where you're convinced that at any point a band of horsemen led by Elijah Smythe are going to come over a nearby hill and start shooting at you? Caution or speed?
I'd be inclined to caution.
I would as well. Let's keep an eye on the horizon. Check, maybe don't travel through no canyons or whatnot. Any place that might be prone to ambush. We'll stay on the higher ground as best we can. We're easier spotted, but we also see other things easier. I've been in the wilds before. I know how to stay out of trouble.
Okay, fantastic. Grease and Doc, are the two of you okay with that approach, or do you want to put your foot on the proverbial gas pedal?
I got no problem with being a little cautious. Seems sensible.
It's significantly easier to read my notebook when we're going slowly than it is when I'm going fast, so I'm quite content to take a slower pace and mumble to myself and knock all the whole way.
Hey, Doc, what are you reading? Anyway, you had your nose stuck in that since we left.
Nothing important, Grease. Just things that interest me.
Just I don't recognize the letters.
No.
It's Latin, is it? Like you're studying?
Yeah.
I never really had a head for Latin. Some of the, the scriptures and such are written in it, and they say it's more authentic and such, like the originals. But I just couldn't get my head around. I mean, I reckon English is complex enough without all the ad-inims and old madams and whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ain't no fun neither. God damn it.
You're looking from one person
I
to
miss
another.
Blanca.
You kind
I
of
will,
I never thought I would miss Blanca. But
as someone who has done this to my family members many, many times, I am able to hold a 1 to 2 word conversation with someone and remember none of it while I'm reading. So
Yep,
none
I
of
get
that actually went through. Like Doc's just like, yep, definitely, absolutely, just completely. If you bring up the fact that you spoke to him, he's not going to remember.
brilliant. I think, Grease, you are starting to figure out the most talkative person, to your immense shock, is Mac.
Yeah, but Mac just lectures me. He's gonna tell me about cleaning my clothes again, or watering horses, or some asinine tidbit of law that ain't relevant to what we're doing.
As you two,
but fair.
sorry.
Harsh but fair.
As you two sort of reach the end of your conversation, Griff sort of comes up behind you and almost snarls at you and says,
Grease, you want to be keeping your mouth closed and your eyes open. And Doc, you want to keep your nose out of that book and on the horizon. It could be anywhere around us right now. We're in dangerous territory. We're being hunted. And
Yes,
if we
sir.
don't be careful, we're going to get killed.
You just get a rattle and no other response.
I
he
spur
won't,
ahead.
he won't press the issue, but he'll just have it.
I'm gonna ride out in front because at least then it feels like I'm doing something, and I scan the horizon just because otherwise I'm gonna get bored.
Okay, fantastic. So you are watching, you are being careful, and you are being watched. And I'm going to need an extreme spot hidden.
Oh, mate, easy done.
From anyone?
Well, I'm going to
can
need
do
it from whoever decides to make the. I mean, you're all watching, so someone can make.
I'm going to roll because I'm definitely watching.
Please do, and you can take a bonus die because you've browbeaten the others into helping you out.
Okay, so I'll roll with a bonus die.
I know, but
Doc's watching
the
his
other
book.
two count for.
Right. And just
they'll-
to make it very clear, Doc is watching his note.
Excellent.
You got 30 wait.
Because
Ooh.
thematically, I'm the one who's keeping it.
No.
No, I failed.
All right, so
What
you're
have you done?
watching the horizon as best you can. You are trying to spot Elijah. But unfortunately, and a little bit of meta information here, which you know I love to do, the horsemen that are following you from a distance and reporting on your whereabouts manage to keep outside the range of your eyes and continue along quietly.
Horsemen or horse lizards?
Well, let's leave it at that. I
Centaurs.
don't want to give too much away.
Well,
You gotta leave me some
They are
kind
half
of secret,
man,
Jackson.
half horse.
Or lizard horses?
or a weird black slime thing. You know?
Yeah,
Who
you've
knows?
got a whole
Could be-
range of choices to choose from.
Fallen
Just add it to the
angels.
list.
Exactly.
Yeah, remember back, not everything out here is lizards. Most things are, but not everything.
So you're all into Santa Rosita a couple of days later, in about the mid-afternoon, and you can see that the town has had a little bit of a rough go of it. Now, this town was destroyed when you were last here. The volcano that erupted as a result of the serpent person activity in the area completely destroyed most of the settlement, burnt down houses, displaced everything. But through your hard work, and in particular yours, Griff, you were able to rebuild most of the place. Unfortunately, a lot of your work has been undone. Buildings have been razed to the ground. You can see fresh burial mounds have been added to the graveyard, and there's a certain air of dejected despair that permeates the entire settlement. People who have been beset by one tragedy after another. As you're walking into the town, people are going to spot you and recognize you. And unless you're making it your business to not be seen, some of them are going to come towards you and quickly begin to lead you towards the sheriff's office. So you know the way, but they're saying, "Oh, Sheriff Valentine will want to speak with you. I'm so glad you came back. It's been a real disaster, and we have, oh gosh, when they rode into town, if we didn't have Valentine, we would have lost so many more people. But he stood firm against them. He drove them away.
How many rode?
Must have been 50, no 100.
I have a strong
Maybe
feeling
a dozen,
it wasn't.
I suppose. Yeah, about a dozen.
could maybe like a solid 5.
Yeah.
There's one guy, but he
maybe
was real
5.
big.
He's got to be count up for at least another 4.
Exactly.
Griff doesn't say anything. He has no need to talk to any of these guys. He wants to talk to Valentine.
All right. So as you're riding past, and I'm sorry to throw on the burdens at you, Griff, but you are going to go past the house where you left Dog, and you were going to see that the house has been burnt down, and there is a small patch of land nearby, which may be one of the owners, and you kind of don't really know what's happened, but you don't see any sign of the of Dog or hear any news there.
My hand tightens around the haft of my axe as he just like white knuckles it.
Okay, perfect.
Is there any kind of obvious like medical, like people getting patched up and things like that?
Yeah, you know the doctor here. In fact, you actually gave him a great deal of training in the immediate time following the disaster. So you can see that there is a medical area off to the side, the same doctor's office that managed to survive the initial devastation.
I think unless anyone desperately needs a doctor, he's going to peel off and do his thing.
Doc,
Okay.
I don't want to tell you how to do your business, but I mean, I look to Mac for support, but ain't we working together on a lot of this? I just think you've been absent from some of the more recent meetings. Might be good to, you're the smartest one of us. It'd be good to have your head in the room.
I mean, I don't mind coming along. I just think I'd be more used helping folks rather than talking. And
Why don't you just listen to what Valentine has to say, and then as soon as you can, you're welcome to go off and patch folks up.
welcome, Emma. All right. I'll
All right.
just turn my horse and keep on in line, but
Excellent. Okay.
close my book.
Yeah. All right. All
Put
right.
it in my wherever jacket or
Yep.
bag or wherever, and just kind of continue riding in, a little stiff.
Brilliant. Okay. So, the collection of you ride in towards towards Sheriff Valentine's office. You dismount, putting your horses in the stable that you staged a half successful robbery from.
Hi, Miss Blanca.
As you pat one of the areas where you remember getting dragged along. And the collection of you head inside the office. When you arrive, Sheriff Valentine stands to greet you, and he looks pretty tired. He's also limping and has visibly kind of a bandaged leg. This is more like not sort of freshly bandaged, no fresh injury, more kind of like a dressing that might have been there for some time. And he raises a hand in greeting, nods to the person who led you over, and says, "It's good to see you all back and see that none of you ain't come to some misfortune. I guess you got the message. I guess you heard what happened."
Yeah, I wish we could say the same for you in terms of not looking in terms of looking well. Do you know which way they went?
I know which way they went. I know where they're going to be. Let me just... He limps towards the door and he shuts it, sort of checks the windows, makes sure nobody's listening. It's a little suspicious. And then he turns back towards the collection of you, leans in, says, "So, you might have heard folks say that I managed to drive them off. I managed to stop them. No, that ain't true. They came through. And can you please give me the name of the citizen who was leading you through, please, Mac? What was the name of this exaggerator who told you there was 100 people?"
Oh, that was, of course, little Jimmy Covett.
You were listening to Jimmy Covett. Jimmy Covett going to tell you there's 1,000 of them. There's not. There's 4 of them. And I had
And 4 of us.
deputies, and now I got 5 deputies, and it was like nothing I ever seen. We came through. We tried to set things up. We tried to stop them, and there was one of them, and I seen him before. And Mac, you and I got to talk because he's wanted for God knows how many murders, but they came through and they lit fires and they caused all kind of havoc, and then Smythe, the one you're after, the one in the papers. He disarms me. He puts me at gunpoint. And he tells me where he's going. And he tells me to make sure that Gutherson knows where he's going. And he says he's heading towards Shade, the town of Shade, up northern New Mexico, Valencia County. He wanted you to know he's going to rob the bank there, and he's going to take hostages, and he's going to kill them in your name. And he's going to keep doing that across the country until you come to meet him.
Well, he won't have to wait very long.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, but they're demons, those folks, or something like it. And I mean that literally. At least that's one of the aliases that one of them went by. He limps over to a sort of filing cabinet towards one side. He begins to pull out files and eventually pulls out like a large one, relatively big, slams it down onto the table and begins looking through it. And he says, does the name Lightning Kid mean anything to any of you? You can make a law check, or you can make a firearms pistol check.
I'll make a firearms pistol check.
All right, fantastic. You kind of shake your head, Mac. You haven't Lightning Kid, maybe a criminal you haven't heard of, but you can see Grease's jaw drop. The Lightning Kid is the best gunslinger that the West has ever known. He's swept
close
across the country, and he has this man has won 6 duels in which he was facing away from his opponent, and they'd already drawn. He is ace quick. He is a legend and has been for many, many years. Probably too many years for him to be called a kid anymore. But this the legacy of this man, the fame of this man can't be overstated. This is quite literally, Grease, the most famous gunslinger in the West.
He's riding with the Lightning Kid? Damn, Mac, how don't you know about him? He's faster than anyone, and he's shooting nothing. I mean, he's just great. I heard all sorts of stories about him outdrawing folks already armed and, outnumbered and things. One where they was on horseback and he was underneath a carriage. Other ones when they were just both riding towards one another and he had to take the reins in his teeth and outdraw the man. I mean, he's just
excited. You might be a bit excited if he's rolling with them.
I mean, it's more about the craft than the... Is he a bastard, Jim? Is he a moiterer? Or is he like a cool bandit?
Grease, you read comic books. And the Lightning Kid's so famous, he's got a comic book written about him.
Yeah, it's a good one. I got an issue.
And in the comic book, he does all kinds of... it now occurs to you, he's killed some sheriffs. But they were always bad sheriffs. They were evil, and he was the hero, and he was saving people. But if you suddenly count out the bodies that have appeared in the book, meanwhile, as you start to look through these files, you were getting a completely different picture, Mac. You were seeing someone who is a serial murderer, someone who is violent, and someone who is just, quick to anger and quick to shoot at people, and who, through skill or luck, has managed to carve a bloody path through the West for several decades. And there's actually a picture there, or sketch at the very least, and it's not really a kid. It is this old man with greasy white hair and a faint wrinkled face that's shrunken in at the sides, and a dark hat hanging low over his face.
Presumably, it looks better in the comics.
Oh, in the comics?
Yeah, that ain't a great photo. I don't know what they got with all them scars and such. He's a mite more beautiful than any of those. Hang on, I think I unrolled like a really crumpled up comic, and it's well thumbed. I folded it up like that. That's what he looks like.
It's got little hearts drawn on it.
Sorry, ignore that page. Just practicing my calligraphy. Grease Kid. Grease Kid.
Let's cross out.
That ain't
the
nothing.
Greasy Kid.
I'll workshop it. It's fine. Damn,
they got that cross out under the lightning grease.
Grease lightning.
Grease lightning.
Whoa, we're on to something. I mean, yeah, but he ain't to be fooled with. It's shocking he's running with you, or with the gentleman. He's famous, properly.
If they're running together, then they're both gonna die by the end of this. Just so you know that, Grace. You best get your head around that.
I reckon I'll be there.
I reckon
reckon
you
you'll beat
might
him?
do it.
Valentine kind of looks across the collection of you and says, "Listen, what y'all did to protect people is important, and we appreciate it. But y'all are saying you're gonna outdraw the fastest gun in the West here. Just to be clear, these people, and judging from what I saw of the others, they were experienced murderers. You're going up against some powerful people."
Understood. These folks ain't to be trifled with. If we go in here, we have to have a plan. We have to have a system. We can't just roll in there and expect everything to go our way. I get what you're saying, Valentine.
They're
How
also.
far,
Now you go ahead, Mac.
how far away is Shade? What kind of travel
It's
time?
not too far if you're on horses. Maybe 5 days ride.
That's plenty of time to figure out exactly what we're gonna do when we get there.
I mean,
But I don't think we got any time to waste.
ain't it obvious what we got to do? I mean, they're holding up places, taking hostages. We go somewhere. We pretend to be part of whatever. We get hostaged, and then we found them. We got them right where we want them.
But how do we know where they're gonna go, Grace?
Well, they're very actively telling you, Griff. And if you're as good a tracker as you make yourself out to be, can't be that hard.
There ain't no way we're gonna beat them to Shade, though.
No, but next one, he made it clear they're going to keep on going. I reckon by the time we get there, already
There's
done his business.
A lot of variables in that plan. It ain't to my fancy.
Griff, let me tell you, way he was talking, I reckon he wanted to wait for you. I reckon he wanted you to see it. I don't know why. I don't know what you done to get the devil in him like this, but he must have hated you. He must have hated you something fierce. You how do you know him?
It's between me and him, Valentine. Between me and him.
Now, jumping back for a minute, Griff, you know this man very well, and you hold a grudge against him. Did you think he held a grudge against you?
Yeah, actually, now that you're mentioning it, like, okay, I didn't. I thought I was hunting him because he killed a bunch of my friends, but to my knowledge, that was because he had a quarrel with them of some kind.
Yeah,
although
no, it was not a
much
quarrel
of one.
with you. It was not a quarrel with you.
Yeah.
It was this is odd. This is someone that you've been hunting. You're all he must have found out your name through the papers.
Yeah. All right.
This does not track neatly for you.
All right. Yeah, it is a mite strange. I didn't know he knew who I was. All of this publicity may have come up to bite us in the ass.
Now we know where he is. Otherwise, he might have stayed nested for a while. If anything, it's working.
Yeah, but nested implies he don't know we're coming, which I do prefer. No matter what now, he's going to know we're coming for him.
Regardless of what he wants or what he knows, the fact is, as long as we tarry, more people are going to get hurt.
Yeah, I suppose.
So, with that in mind, you're going to have to get ready to head towards Shade. Are there any other preparations you want to make? Otherwise, it's back on the road.
Before we leave, I want to primarily talk to the doctor. But hey, Doc, did you find any of that just a tad suspicious? The way that Valentine said he gave up where we were, and also he claims that he was drawn on and simply given a message and then let go. Would you have any way to determine if he was, the gentleman that we met earlier, and he wasn't an imposter? A lizard?
I think that somewhat depends on the answer to something that I wanted to do before we left.
Excellent, yeah.
Before we left the office.
Please.
Which was, if everyone was filing out, I was going to pause for a moment and ask Valentine something.
Sure, certainly. So you pause and you turn towards Valentine and you look at him and he nods at you and says, Doctor?
Sheriff, you mentioned people came through here like demons. I was wondering if you could elaborate on that a little more for me. What do you mean by that?
Well, they were unstoppable. Lost deputies trying to fight them. They killed without any care. Shot down anybody that they wanted to. Didn't have any respect for life. They didn't even have a goal apart from deliver a message to I don't know why they did this.
Psychology, please.
Yeah, sure. Please make a psychology test.
Oh.
Yes. Okay. So you.
I don't think I've
Sorry, everyone else saw it in the thing, and then there was like me 30 seconds later going, ooh.
I haven't really succeeded in a psychology check since like the second semester.
You have been
Fair.
so unlucky. Okay, so the classic fumble on a psychology roll is that you reveal a secret that you did not mean to reveal as you go forward. And I'm going to play a little twist on that. So you begin to walk forward and you're kind of probing and you're prodding, and it just becomes clear that you are being accusatory and that you think something's up. And you lean in and you say something particularly rude, particularly inflammatory, something that would get Valentine's ire up. What do you think you say?
Seems mighty fine he had you at gunpoint, and yet you're standing here. If he's going through everyone like you say he is.
And you know his face falls and he stands up and he kind of quivers for a moment. He says, "You know, he shot dead people I love before he put me at gunpoint. What seems mighty fine is that wherever you walk, Stillwater, Santa Rosita, San Rafael, disaster and death follows in your wakes. Y'all are maybe the demons that tore through here. Get out of this town. Get on your way and never come back. You're not welcome in Santa Rosita, none of y'all. We would have been better without every one of you. And Marshal, I'll be putting in a complaint. You know that. Bastards, every one of you."
All right, I can see we've taken up too much of your time. We'll be rolling out.
He spins on his heel and he walks back and limps to his desk. And as a collection of you walk down. Yes? No?
Well, yeah, but there's just going to be a very quiet at the door. It's a shame I saved so many of your folk hay and just leave.
Ooh. All right. You see his eyes cast down and you don't catch his response because you turned away. And you move outside and the outburst was loud enough that a couple of people might have heard, but none of them meet your eyes as you get back towards your horses and get ready to leave. All right.
I think Joseph's just like, well, that's a shame.
Yeah. Excellent. So I think there's a perfect place to take a quick break. We are going to be back in 10 minutes and we'll get towards the town of Shade and get into things. Thank you very much. See you soon.
I'm proud of it.
Welcome back, everybody, to the stream of chaos. We are jumping right in as our investigators tear towards the town of Shade to stop more terrible killings from being done in their name. So we're going to jump right into things because there's a lot we need to get through. As you're all tearing across the deserts of New Mexico, heading towards this town. Yeah, was that a raised? No, that wasn't a raised hand.
No, sir.
Scratched head. I thought you had something to say, but I will be getting you to say something anyway. Can I get everybody to tell me what is on their mind? Are you thinking that you're going to be able to resolve this with some kind of plot? I know, Greece, you were talking about posing as hostages. Or is this going to be blood? Is this going to be violence? Or maybe, Doc, there's a scientific solution. Or maybe you don't care. Maybe you just want to read your book and study the secrets that lie beyond the veil of human perception. Let me know, everybody. What's on your mind? What's the plan?
I don't know if we're going to be able to get a drop on them as much as we would like.
That's all I had to say.
Fair enough, so you think that surprise is not going to be your ally here. Mac, what about you? You've got experience tracking down outlaws. This feels like it is within your wheelhouse.
Yeah, but it's hard to plan exactly what we're gonna do until we see where they hold up and see what they're up to.
Okay. All right. Grace, Doc, any specific plans?
I'm going to be honest. That plan I came up with, I'm pretty sure that was from a Lightning Kid comic. So I think he'd probably recognize it. I think the enemies pretending to be elderly women and were held up or something. That being said, I will have a flick through the other comics to see if one of them has something that's pretty good.
Absolutely.
Any weaknesses in there?
Yeah, if it comes up, he goes, oh no, once again, sunlight, or whatever.
It turns out he's weak to fire, but in the same way all human beings are weak to fire. Like, it hurts all of us.
Yeah. Or, bullets if he can catch them.
I would like all of you to make up an outlandish myth about the Lightning Kid, and we're going to pick one of them to be true.
They ain't outlandish.
What is just the craziest thing that you can think of?
I think
got
David
one.
came up with like 6 earlier.
Yeah, but those weren't myths. Those are all facts. I got one. I mean, he's got 6 fingers on each hand.
Oh,
and he uses them to squeeze the triggers all the faster. Was that going to be yours?
I came up with that as like the second before you said it. I was.
Well, then that one's
Really
definitely true. There's no way
Yeah,
that one's.
But he's only
Yeah, I
got
heard
4
that too.
toes on each foot, so it balances.
I love that you're princess briding this up, yo.
Yeah.
He sleeps standing up.
Ooh,
Hell yeah.
excellent. I love it.
Jeez.
Thoughts? Mac, you still got to come up with another one. I'm not going to let you get away with the 6 fingers.
He's got a 7 shooter.
A 7 shooter.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
figured out how to cram an extra bullet in there. Always
I
takes
was-
it by
I was-
surprise.
You then just stole my one. Like, I was trying to
Oops.
figure out how. I was like, maybe he's got a 12 shooter. I was like, that is ridiculous. That is way too many.
But 7. That's cool.
Okay. And
He's got like a bunch of preloaded the wheels, whatever they are.
Yep.
And he just flicks them in and off instead of loading the bullets individually, so you can fire quicker. I don't know.
I like it.
Or he
I
just
like
But
throws
that-
away the entire gun.
That implies he
yeah,
misses.
actually, yeah.
Is the
No,
thing.
he wears 30 guns and he just throws them away when he's done.
I like it.
I am
wonder
back
which one
in.
will be true. I know which one is true. It's going to be great. Anyway, so the collection of you are riding along and heading towards the town
Know
of
what was on
Heenan.
my mind?
Sorry? Yes, sorry, of course. I got overwhelmed by the amazing myths, please.
By the Lightning Kid. Yeah.
I mean, Joseph doesn't really want to be dragged away from his work, and the only reason he is being dragged away from his work is the Green Knight gang seem to have a very strange connection to these serpents and strange kind of mythos. And I think at this point, Joseph's starting to put together that all of these things are connected, and maybe if he can work out exactly where this is all stemming from, maybe he can stop it and save a lot of people. But at least in the interim, he's hoping that some of that snake research he's doing will at least teach him how to pry someone's skull open and read their mind after they're dead.
Wait,
yes, okay. Good advice.
That's what's on my mind, whether or not I feel like that's probably Joseph as well.
I think that's fantastic. It's a research trip, absolutely critical. Okay, so
can I just have a quick convo with Mac?
absolutely.
I'd just like to, as we're riding, I'll pull my horse up to next to yours, and I like sort of out of earshot of the others, and I'll say,
Hey, Mac, I need to ask you something.
It's on your mind.
I need to know. Well, I need to, actually, what I more need is to ask you a favor. Can you follow my lead up here?
No one better than any of us, so I reckon that's a sensible move.
I can trust it. Look, I don't need you to follow me blindly, obviously, but you can speak your mind. But you don't know what this guy did, Mac. He's a demon. He's a bad guy. Look, I need you to follow my lead and trust that I know what's best for this guy.
I reckon I can do that.
Thanks, Mac. It means a lot to me. I know that's not easy to ask.
Anything that helps put him in the ground.
That's truth. That's all I needed to say.
Okay, fantastic. So, you continue towards the town of Shade, and as you start to get close to it, I'd like somebody, just one of you, to make a history check to let me know if you are aware of the story of Shade, what brought it to be.
I certainly am not. I
Okay.
can't imagine Greece is.
Hey,
So it's between the other two.
20.
20? Okay, 20
I
is
think we'll
pretty-
I think 20's 20's. I think 20's all right.
it's
Yeah,
just under the
pretty good.
firearm
Not
skills.
base.
What about the doc?
I think the
base
doc
is
might be-
base is 5, and I
Oh,
said
really?
I have 5. So
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Are you muted?
you
Art?
are- muted,
you muted.
Yes, unfortunately. Yes, we will never know. Art, unfortunately, you were muted, so we do not know the details.
Sorry.
No worries.
I am base. The doctor
Base.
is about medical
Oh,
history, but not history.
Well,
If the
then.
library around, maybe he could pick up, but no.
by all means, I'll take a roll.
Please do.
There you go.
Okay.
Fun fact.
Well,
There's a town
it's-
called Shade.
It's presumably shady, and that is about as far as you can get. So when the town emerges, you are maybe surprised, maybe not. Well, I guess you are surprised because you didn't know anything about it, but it's big. It's really nice. It is probably the biggest town that you have been to so far during the action of this campaign. It has, it's got full of facilities. There's a bank, there's several saloons, there's sheriff's offices, there's houses, there's farms, there's post offices. It's a thriving little community. It's rather nice. And you stroll in past a little auction that is going outside in a cattle market towards one side, and you can see that all kinds of livestock are getting sold off. It's bustling, really. There's a massive crowd. As you're walking through and heading into the town itself, you realize that, no, there's actually quite a large crowd. They're crowded around one side of the cattle market, and they seem to have all set up outside a caravan. And Doc, can I get you to make a spot hidden check, just because I know that your head is going to be down in a book.
Mm.
As I pull up the tome here to get all the details.
Rolling well tonight.
Yeah, oh Jesus.
That is a critical failure because your skill's below 50.
Oh God.
Oh my good lord.
You don't see anything.
All right. So I think I'm going to hold this critical failure and decide exactly what I want to do with it. But let me set the scene. You are jostled and you actually almost drop what you're holding. You smudge a line on your book because you're having to push through this crowd. And as you look up, irritated, you spot words that send like a chill of fury up your body. Or maybe they do, maybe they don't. Cure all, magical tonic, good for any ailment. And you can see a man standing up on a stage, holding up these small bottles and chanting out to the crowd, come one, come all, for Otomal's marvelous tonic that will cure any ailment as varied as a gunshot wound to snake bite, and is yelling, and people are waving money. It seems like he is doing relatively well. Have you encountered this kind of thing before in the West?
Plenty of times. There's
Yep.
folk are. Well, some folk have brain cells enough to rub between them, and some don't. And the ones that don't, they come to me, I help them. If they don't, I do what I can. But if they want to waste their money on things that don't work, that's up to them.
Wow. A cure-all tonic.
Sure.
Doc, can I borrow some money?
Okay, so the two of you are sort of looking over, but you're basically ignoring this. And Doc, this isn't anything special to you. So the collection of you keep writing, but then a final
Sounds
set
like
of
it.
words. Oh, sorry, Mac, did you want to say something?
Well, it sounds like a snake oil salesman to me.
Oh,
All
exactly.
the worse.
Snake oil. But do go on.
But as you ride past this snake oil salesman, intended to completely ignore the situation, one of the advertising slogans catches in your ear, Doc, because this figure, who, you know, presumably is the Automal of the Automal tonic, yells out, "Designed by genius physician William Hackney, this tonic will cure any ailment." And you hear the name of your mentor ring out, casually tossed into the air as he holds up, as this figure holds up the tonic. Does Doc react?
I think in the same way as if someone said his family was in town, he's like, well, that's unusual. I should probably look into that. See if I can say hello. Meaning to say, try and find him for a while. Seems like something I should probably consider.
The pull that once drew you to search for this person has been weakened by the horrors that you have seen. You find your mind too explicitly focused on the task ahead of you. It's nice to know. Maybe there's a lead here, but you've got more important things to do.
Just
I can
before.
look into it after everything.
Sorry. I was gonna say
I
before we
said
leave.
I can look after it. I can look into it once we're done.
Absolutely. Did you want to say something, Grace?
The miracle of video calls. Before we leave, how much one of these puppies set you back? What are we looking at? And do they do any sort of payment schemes where I can...
You stop just for a moment while the others roll on, and you find yourself in the crowd a little bit, and Otomal can see that you are almost pulled in. He's going to turn straight towards you, sir, and he's going to say, you boy at the side.
Me? Well,
What
I'm
is the
just
most-
a normal folk. I don't know
normal
a thing
folk.
about medicine and such, but occasionally I find myself with injuries and asunder, and boy howdy, do the medical bills of my doctor add up.
Why does he sound like a plant?
Yeah, he doesn't look concerned. He's like, and I would like you to clarify that we have never met before.
No, I turn to the crowd. We have never met.
What is the most terrible injury that you have had the misfortune to see, my fine sir?
To see? Sir, I do not have the time, and you do not have the sanity to comprehend it.
Oh, you are a man who has witnessed terrible things, I'm sure. Well, then, what is the most terrible injury that you have sustained?
I believe I have been shot. There's probably other things, but that tends to rank highly.
Well, with one sip of this tonic, you will find that the injury wrought by any bullet will be magically removed from the body just 3 hours after having consumed it. But you must be careful, because if you drink 2 sips, then unfortunately the bullet may be expelled from your body at such a rate that it may harm others, perhaps even loved ones.
Holy hell. I mean, that's
Man
a
is
devil of a
said
tonic.
to once have taken 3 sips, and he himself was launched with such alacrity that he was never seen again.
I feel like Doc would have started to pay attention. At
Okay,
this
you
point.
just for the sheer hilarity of it.
That is...
Probably has just like pulled the horse back. I don't know if the other two are going, and is just looking at this, and is just kind of waiting to see what happens.
I gawp, but looking at Doc and the other guy like, oh my god, what an amazing discovery I've made, because I talked to this man. I mean, that's an astonishing thing. I mean, how much do you charge for such tonics?
Well, for the small price of $1, that is right, just $1, you can be provided with a single sip of the substance. But if you have $5 with you, I will be willing to part with a small bottle.
Hang on. Let me pull out a fistful of coins, and I urgently count them out. And I hang on.
Even Grace might be able to afford
Hang on.
$1.
Hang on. It's going to be close.
Frantically going. One of the people.
I definitely don't think you can afford 5.
I urgently add it all up, and then I cannot. I have $2.50 to my name.
The fellow is going to say, oh, well, perhaps I can organize a special discount for one of the people in the crowd who's just been sort of standing there watching, is going to nudge you and say, kid, it's a scam. Yeah, and like you can see even the people who are watching it just kind of like they're here to watch because it's entertaining. No one's stepping forward to actually buy it.
Look, how do you mean it's a scam? I mean, he says the bullets get expelled. Surely that is easily proven. And
Well, yeah, it's easily proven that it's false. You know, you come half the time you just come for the show. Oh, he does this every week. We've had time to test. Chuck him a buck if you want, but all that he'll give you is a little vial that tastes like. Let's pay no attention to the lies cast upon you by the people of this town. For just $2, I will provide you with a full bottle of my miracle tonic.
what exactly is the magical ingredient in such a thing?
Well, that is a secret ingredient designed by the genius physician William Hackney, who I met and who imparted to me the last secrets of his studies moment before he departed this world to the one beyond.
He's dead?
Oh, well, I cannot reveal the secrets
Probably
because in truth, and you, upon hearing this, I just want to jump across quickly. How does Joseph react?
I mean, my mentor's dead. How do you think I'm gonna react? Ain't great.
So it shakes through for a moment though, and you're not sure. You know, this person clearly isn't a paragon of honesty, but at
No,
least some kind
but
of...
there's enough that I mean, there's a concern. It'd be like hearing, well, I'd say my father, but he was right something. So maybe my mother or something like that died. I'd feel something, of course. I'm not heartless. I'm not a monster. Yeah, I think I don't know if I'd say anything, but there's a significant shift on my face.
Okay, fantastic. After you've said he is dead, Grease, and says, well, some say that the true geniuses and masters of the ways of magic and science never die, but you can find all the truth yourself for just $2. Come on, kid, give me the $2. I'm doing my best here.
I got $1.
Yep, $1. Let's do it. Come on.
There you go, sir.
All right, have fun, kid. You'll turn back and continue to sort of. What does it smell like?
I don't know. I mean, it hardly smells of anything. I mean, it's one of those things where if you think you can maybe smell something, it's in there. But no, I'm pretty sure that's just water with some coloring added to it or something.
Reese, I would be stunned if that does more than evacuate your bowels, no less evacuate a bullet.
Tell you what, I mean, Mac, we get
You
into
had to
trouble.
say dad.
No.
You had to say dad.
Mac Dad?
No, I wasn't.
You
Shut
called him
up.
Dad. I heard you.
No, I didn't. I got my own pocket money. I'm allowed to spend it on whatever I want, and it's my dollar. I'm buying magic cure-all. I ain't.
Grease. Just do you mind if I take a look at it before you decide to drink it? I just want to make sure there's no arsenic in it or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, you might be able to find out what's in it and make some for yourself. I mean, if you can start spinning this out, we're making dollar after dollar after dollar. We're going to be, dozenonaires in no time. There you go. That is mine, though. I'm going to need it back. You can't sample the whole thing. It's just I don't got a whole lot of money, and that dollar was precious.
I'll put it in my waistcoat pocket, and then just like with all of the talk of like things that might have miracle cures, just pulls my flip flask out. It's just like, yeah, miracle
The
cure.
true miracle cure.
The true miracle cure. All right, so
Well, all of you done faffing about? That's what I thought. Let's come on. We got business to be attended to. We can't be sitting around here talking all day. Let's move.
Not gonna be
the
so.
town of Shade is spread out before you. It is a bustling little village, half city, really. Where would you like to go? What would you like to do?
All right, I think we should
Alright.
split into two groups to cover more ground. Mac, you should take someone to go see the sheriff, see if he's heard any rumblings or any care of these villainous folk who are coming up. Say they're
Right.
gonna rob the bank.
I thought exactly, but speaking of which, we should probably get a beat in the bank. Make sure we know to run there as soon as we hear some trouble.
I agree. I suspect. I suspect the bank will not be especially hard to find. They tend to be large buildings in the center of town.
You can already see the approximate location. You haven't gone up to have a look at it, but you know where it is.
Why don't I go scope out the bank and you go scope out the sheriff, and then between the two of you lot, you can choose who you want to go with.
Doc, you got a preference?
What?
Do you got a preference between seeing the sheriff or heading to the bank?
Oh.
Because if not, I'd love to go to the bank.
Then you go to the bank.
All right.
Please.
Very good.
All right.
I'll
perfect.
make a
Grace,
deposit.
you know Grace, you know the bank doesn't just give you money. You have to have money in the bank already.
It's called a loan, Griff.
And how's your credit, Grease? You 17-year-old boy.
17-year-old man. And I'm old enough to
right.
promise them. Yeah.
Doc, if you're otherwise occupied, I'm sure you could find us some lodgings if you prefer some downtime.
I don't think we should split up all that much. I feel like with these bad folk around, people might not want to be by themselves, if you get me drift.
I do, but I don't think there's any harm in wandering around the center of town. I mean, the sheriff, the bank, lodgings, they're all going to be relatively close by. And if we are going to be here a while, it makes sense that we get somewhere to sleep.
Your call.
If you don't mind doing that, Mac, you don't need any backup or anything?
Oh, just swing by for a chat.
No,
Right.
you are the law, man. I'll leave it with you.
Okay, so to be clear, the two of you are heading off to the bank, Grease and Griff. You are heading off to speak to the law, Mac, and you are going to go and have a wander about the town and secure rooms, ultimately.
Probably not, but sure.
All right. Easy peasy.
Remember how well things go when Grease and Griff go off by themselves together? Things
Dream
always
team.
end up well.
Matt, can we
Okay,
have some dynamite before we go? Just for later?
Not till you earned it.
He didn't say no.
He didn't say no.
Say
He
no.
didn't say no. We'll be
No
back.
dynamite until you finish your snake magic book. All right. So we're going to start with Doc this time. As the collection of you all split apart and head on your separate ways, Joseph, where are you going to go?
Going back to the snake oil salesman, where do you think I'm going?
Okay, fantastic. You turn about and you head back to the snake oil salesman. You stand about for a while. Are you going to wait for the show to kind of end? It's already petering out, or are you going to interrupt it? Yeah, okay.
Oh, I'm happy to wait. Sort of, look passingly engaged at what's going on.
Okay, fantastic. You look engaged. Once or twice, the Audemars is going to turn towards you and wave a hand, and you, sir, and you, do you have any interest in purchasing this magical tonic?
I just sort of put a hand up and don't say anything.
If you do you have any medical expertise?
Again, I think he just goes.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. All right. So he moves on.
It's like being at a comedy show.
show.
Where do you work, sir?
Well, it basically is, and you get the sense that this is a town that has seen its fair share of snake oil salesmen, and this person is basically selling. It's half show. Occasionally, people will go and will buy something, but people will also just buy things because they're like, yeah, maybe it'll work, whatever. It's a bit of fun. When the show ends, this person begins to sort of pack down all of their stuff, and people are heading off on their way. You can easily approach. There's no one really hanging around.
Yeah. I will note Joseph doesn't specify his medical qualifications, not because he doesn't want to, but because honestly he doesn't want to spoil the show for people.
Fair enough. Yeah, absolutely.
People enjoying themselves is as much important to their health and well-being as medicine. So
100%. Yeah. You got to take care of them.
but yeah, I'll wander up and be like, excuse me, sir.
Yes. Change your mind. Can I interest you in a purchase?
I am a medically trained professional from the Johns Hopkins University of Medical Science. No, you can't. But what you can do is tell me what you know about Mr. William Hackney, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Well, we're Hackney. Well, he's the original designer of my magical recipe. You know,
He he sent me to John Hopkins University. I know him personally, so I'm sure if he had anything to do with your tonic, well, it'll have more of a cure-all than if you just done it yourself. I'm not here to tell you to not do what you're doing. I think you are giving folks a smile, and I like to see that. But I am looking for the man, and you mentioned he had passed on. I wanted to know how much of that was bluster and how much of that was fact.
oh, okay. I see. I understand. Well, you see what I'm doing here. I assume you gotta respect my need to continue doing what I'm doing. I'll tell you what I know for $10.
5.
I got some juicy tidbits. You want me to talk about the doc? I'll tell you. $10.
It's just gonna go.
You can make a persuade check.
Doc isn't very persuasive.
Hopefully, Doc's got $10 then.
He's pretty.
And you
he's
could
pretty
intimidate
loaded.
him. Is Doc intimidating?
I think Doc might be more intimidating than he is persuasive.
You could try intimidate. You are also, judging by the way that you were talking, I assumed you wanted to make a persuade check. But if you would like to make an intimidate,
Sorry, my entire.
Threaten to out him as a fake and a phony.
Isn't Doc more wealthy than intimidating?
Yeah, yes. So my persuade and my charm are pretty much the same. I don't know where.
I was gonna say
this feels more persuade, I think.
Yeah,
than
I feel.
Yeah, this is persuade. It's fine.
I also feel like if anyone can afford it, Doc can. Oh, but he doesn't need to.
you just and you,
look at him and just kind of go. I'm gonna keep quiet, and you can have $5.
okay, and it's $5 it is. All right.
And over $5 bill. It's within my daily spending limit.
Quickly takes it away
you're
and
rich.
says, okay, look, listen, I'm sorry I can't tell you all that much, but I took that doctor's name. He, first of all, he ain't dead, at least far as I know. But well, I was out wandering and heading towards some ranches out further west, trying to talk to farmers and the like. You know, you hit people who are a little more isolated. They tend to be more willing to buy supplies from you, right? So I may travel to a lot of ranches. And I met the doc out by one of them. And well, I saw him. I don't quite know how to put this. I saw him do. I saw him bring a baby back from the dead, stillborn child that had been buried. I saw him do something to it, and he told me that he had. He told me that he had magic ways. He told me that he understood science that nobody else did, and that he learnt it. And I thought to myself, well, if he's going around doing this kind of thing, and he weren't being real shy about using his name, then, well, maybe I could trade off it. Maybe somebody would have heard of him and make him more likely to pay. So last I saw him, he was at the Scanlon Ranch. That's out towards the west. Pretty large ranch. You know, you won't be able to miss it if you head towards the edge of New Mexico.
Thank you kindly. That's about all I needed to hear. Appreciate
You know, I will say that there was something a little odd about that man. If I don't mean to be rude or nothing, I understand that if he sent you to John Hopkins, then clearly you you know, he sounds like a good man, but you know, the way he walked, the way he talked, the way he related to people, something a little cold about him, almost reptilian, I guess.
Sometimes good folk do bad things, but sometimes people are just people.
Okay.
But thank you for warning. I'll keep that in mind.
No problem. Say, if you are heading out west and you want to try and resist the effects of the sand and the heat, then I can sell you a whole bunch of junk that won't do nothing. I can't get that other $5 from you, please. I think I was pretty useful.
How much? Like, do I need to use my daily spending limit for things like lodgings, or is that sort
No,
of...
that's okay. If you want to just do a cool gift and give this guy the other 5, it will
What
not.
is,
Yeah,
what
I'll
is
just
your
be
daily
like-
spending limit?
10?
You just give it to
Ha,
him.
roller.
I have like I did maths. I've got like $13,000 worth of assets now.
Oof.
You're so rich.
Yeah, it's
I have
literally just like who gives a fuck?
$2.50, and I had
Yeah.
to move $1 out of it, and I've just listed my $1 bottle as an asset.
You know, what I will actually do is I will pull out like the $5 and I will say one more thing.
Yeah.
That tonic you sold my young friend. Tell me it don't have anything worse than alcohol in it.
Oh, no, nothing even. Alcohol's expensive. It ain't even got that. No, no, it's just got water and a couple of harmless herbs to give it a strange taste.
Poison's expensive. You think I'm gonna waste that on people?
In that case, I'll be like,
He's too cheap to poison people.
give me another bottle of it for him. It'll make him happy, and
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's it.
I'll pocket the other one for a later time.
I'm going to be invulnerable.
Right, brilliant.
Yeah, I think he's and just goes, have a mighty fine day now. I'm just gonna turn around and
All right, fantastic. So,
I just-
Doc, you turn and you leave.
Got a premonition of Grease dying on the ground, riddled with bullet holes, going, just give me a drop. I'll feel better.
I'm going to be okay.
Okay.
Oh, you better hope Joseph doesn't fail a medicine roll on any of you.
Getting the tonic.
Uh-oh.
No,
Uh-oh.
I think I'm just done spending luck on medicine.
Yeah. So let's go to the marshal next. Mac, you head towards the sheriff's office in the town, and it's pretty big. It's nice. You can enter from both sides, and you can see there's a couple of jail cells. There's an upstairs floor that looks like it's got a couple of desks on it. When you walk inside, you can see that there's sort of someone seated behind, ready to talk to anybody who comes in. And when he sees you arrive, he actually notices your badge and stands up and says, "Oh, a marshal! Oh, hello, marshal! I'll get the sheriff. I'll be right down. You can take a seat, or do you need some water, or?"
Just the sheriff.
Okay, all right. And he darts upstairs. A couple of seconds later, you can see a man head downstairs. He looks probably he's very kind of baby faced. He has curly red hair and freckles and looks quite friendly, but he does have an air of seriousness about him. And he comes down, holds out his hand towards you, and introduces himself. I'm sure Hooper Otis. Nice to meet you, Marshal. Can I get your name? Oh, I'm afraid
Can.
you're muted, Marshal.
Sure am. I'm a strong silent type.
Oh, I can see.
Jeremiah MacDonald, Georgia.
I read about you in the papers. I'm afraid you're muted again, Marshal. Very strong and silent.
And that's part of the problem, ain't it? Seem to be attracting a bit too much attention.
I see. Well, what brings you to Shade?
Well, we received news that gentleman's gonna come here to stir up some trouble. Bandit by the name of Smythe. He's made his intentions known. He's gonna stir up some trouble at the bank, take hostages. So we're here to make sure that not too many people get hurt.
Okay. And that's one of the fellows that you've been hunting then.
Very same.
Okay. Well, I can round up a posse, have a couple of people set up at the bank, make sure that nobody's gonna get up to nothing.
Well, let's make sure it's subtle. We don't need to flag that we're preparing for him. As I see it, we want to take him quietly, without too much fuss.
I see. Well, Marshal, it's look. With all respect, if he just decides to leave, that'd be fine by me. My duty to protect the people of Shade and all that. But it ultimately, if you want me to keep things quiet, I won't round up a posse. Then I'll just get my deputies to come through. They can be a little quieter. If we start getting everybody around, maybe it'll give things away.
Yeah, I think that's safer. And the fact of the matter is, if he does get spooked, then it's just going to be a smaller, less defensible town that bears the brunt.
I suppose you're right then. Okay, well, I'll have a word to my deputies, and we'll try and set something up. Do you have any need of equipment? Can we do anything for you? Do you want to, if you have a word with Lance down at the lodgings, they'll have some room set up for you. He speaks kind of oddly. He's from Sweden, I think, but he's a good sort.
That'd be fine. Well, let him know you sent us.
Yep. Just I'll send a deputy down to let him know the situation.
Mighty kind. All right. Well, we'll unsaddle and keep our eyes open. So
Okay.
you do the same.
Do you have any idea? You think he's coming the next couple of days then, or?
Could be any time from now.
Okay. Well, thank you, Marshal.
Maybe we should set up a post. Watch the bank. Watch the gates. I got a man traveling with me. Can tell you what he looks like.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. And he kind of nods a few times. And for once, you are meeting a sheriff who is very keen to help and is pretty happy
Seems to be
yeah.
good at his job.
Yeah, he gets together a few deputies and he's going to tell them to start setting up and watching the bank and things like that. Meanwhile, while you're doing that, let's jump across to Grease and Griff, the pair that always find themselves getting into trouble. The two of you are walking down now through the center of the town. Right opposite the bank, there is a cantina off towards one side. And you can see the bank itself. It's pretty uninteresting overall, but I would like one of you to make a listen check.
Ooh. Yeah, I'll do that. Unless Grease really wants to fight me for it. Oh, actually, my listen's pretty poor. Is yours any good?
What? Mine is barely better than base.
Oh, mine is worse than base, so...
Oh, yeah, because you lit off from
Because something blew up in my ear.
As did I. Yeah, I tell you what. I'll give you a listen, Jim.
All right, please do.
Ka-chow.
Okay, so you're walking past you're walking up towards the bank. You can see that Griff has this laser-like focus completely engaged. So he's not paying attention to anything around him, but you glance over to the saloon. It is the Silver Shaft Saloon. And it looks nice. You're wondering if it's going to have food as good in it and some of the other places you've been to. And you can hear some cheering and whooping and hollering coming from the back of the establishment. A little bit curious, as Griff kind of makes his way towards the bank entirely, you just lean and peek down this alleyway that feeds behind the saloon. And you can see what looks like a makeshift elevated boxing ring set up, and there's quite a few people all gathered around it, and there's two folks brawling, duking it out in the center.
Griff.
What?
Hold on. Come here. Look at this.
No.
Look right. No. Come on. Look at that right down there. They got a
What
whole
is
little. They got a boxing ring set up, and they got two people thumping the hell out of one another.
Oh.
That man needs a tonic.
Yeah, you indeed see one person get walloped in the face and they stagger backwards, but then rise up and get back into it.
Do you reckon they
What's that?
do you reckon they take bets on that? I mean, I reckon that little skinny fella's got some heat in him. I reckon he's a bit of an underdog. Make my money
Griff,
back.
what does
pretty
any of
quickly.
this have to do with us?
Well, I suppose very little, Griff.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
All right.
I continue to march off towards the thing.
Single-minded
to
focus.
the bank.
You head towards the bank. You find yourself standing. You look at the boxing ring one last time, and you're going to follow after Griff?
Yeah, I follow Griff.
All right, you turn away. You arrive at the bank, Griff. You can see it spread out before you. It's quite a large building. It's single story, flat, pretty modest. There's a small kind of alcove at the top, like a little tiny attic area, but not really a proper full story. You can see it looks pretty busy.
Mm-hmm.
Anything in particular you'd like to do?
I burst through the front doors and I say, I would like to talk to a manager, please.
Okay. All right. You burst in entirely and kind of loudly yell. Can I get you to make an intimidate check just to see how much you're able to spook people?
So I think his intimidating nature is juxtaposition with his simple language use. Oh, hey, it worked.
We count that. That's a tick. Well done.
It's a tick.
Okay.
I'm pleased with myself.
Yeah.
All right. There's silence for a few moments, and then a large man with a balding head who's mopping at sweat on his receding hairline is going to come forward and brush everybody back and get them to go to their business and step forward and say, I'm Mr. Parker, sir. I'm sorry. Can I ask you your name?
Mr. Parker, you need to close the bank.
He kind of looks around. He gestures towards someone in the corner that you didn't notice before. And this quite large man stands up and begins to just walk towards you. He's a little older with a slouch, but he looks like he might be some kind of bouncer or something like this. Mr. Parker turns back and says, I'm afraid you can't dictate when the bank closes. Why do we need to close the bank, sir?
The bank is going to be robbed in the upcoming future, and it behoove you to close.
Griff, that sounds real bad. I'd step in between Griff
shut
and
up, Griff. Shut up, Griff.
Can we? Is there anywhere private we can talk?
Okay, so I'm gonna need a persuade check from you, Grace, to stop this man from believing that he's currently being robbed.
Yeah.
The bank is going to be robbed. I know this for a fact.
You can take 4.
If you do not close the bank now, it will be robbed.
Success, Jim. I spent 4 points of luck.
Okay. All right. You're spending 4 points of luck to get that success. Okay. Grease, you slide in. You manage to quickly talk. Parker is going to kind of listen, calm down, and say, all right, come through to the back. And he gestures to the bouncer who comes with him. And the collection of you soon find yourself in a side room. Now, this building doesn't really have a vast array of security. It's well designed, but when you come into the side room where there's a small office, you can see that there's a set of doors leading to the basement. You can actually peek down them and see that there's a vault down there. The vault door looks big and impressive. You wouldn't be able to get through it, but you can see where it is. Parker sits down behind a desk and motions for the two of you to sit while the bouncer stands by, doing his best to look tough. And Parker, meanwhile, looks towards the two of you. Yes, Grace, you want to ask
before we go in, I'm gonna just give just nudge Griff and say, just let him know what's happening, but try not to scare him.
What I was
more
doing, I was just telling him what was gonna happen.
Griff, you ain't too good with speaking of folk. Just simple terms. Try not to scare the man.
Well, you want to do it?
No. Or one of us should stay out there in the bank. If this security feller's coming in with us, I reckon now's as good a time as any to hit it. One of us should stay out there with the rest of them.
Well, all right, go on up.
Which one do you want, Griff?
No, you go up to the bank. I'll talk to the manager.
All right. I'll see you on the other side.
All right, so you stand forward. You suddenly find yourself alone in the lobby, kind of looking about. You're standing there feeling kind of... Are you doing anything or just keeping an eye out?
Yeah, take a coin and flick it.
Okay, perfect. Before we jump into this conversation with you, Griff, I want to know where Doc and Mac are going. Are the two of you reconvening somewhere? Are you heading towards the bank?
I guess I guess we should unsaddle our horses and drop our stuff at the lodge and then head to the bank.
Okay.
What are we doing?
Excellent. So you're heading towards there. Doc, you probably crash into the marshal on the way, so you can head to the lodge and pack your things up as well if you would like.
That was gonna say, like, once I was done with the snake oil man, I was gonna actually do what I said I was gonna do and find lodging, so that works out.
Snake oil.
You end up in a conversation with Lance Streda and his daughter Jill, who Lance speaks with a very strong Swedish accent. But they're happy to have you. Their place is very clean. It's nice. It's quite high, and there's little plants scattered throughout it. They organize for rooms. Jill asks if you want food prepared for you in the evening.
Oh yeah, that'd be mighty fine. Thank you.
Okay, great. We can do that.
I will cover the cost because I just checked my sheet and my spending limit is not $10. It is $25.
Okay.
Nice.
$1.
You're absolutely loaded, but fortunately you will not have to pay because it has all been organized by the sheriff, who will not have a marshal, and the marshal's deputies or assistants or whatever you want to call them, out of pocket.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a beat in the bank.
All right. The two of you are heading towards the bank, and you're going to arrive in just a moment then. Is there anything else you want to do before you leave, Doc? Or
Oh, just only again, it's that, like, Marshall says we should go to the bank, and Doc's like,
Absolutely. Great. Okay, so you forced yourself through. You just want to work, but you've got to go. So you turn back and you head towards the bank. Meanwhile, inside, you step in and you are left with Mr. Parker Griff, who motions for you to sit down and says, all right, Mr. Gutherson, why don't you tell us everything about this robbery that you have some information on?
All right. Apologies for my abruptness earlier. I am currently in the policy of a marshal. He is currently talking to your sheriff about a potential robbery of this bank that will be perpetrated by one Elijah Smythe and the assistance of a gentleman known as the Lightning Kid. He has quite a reputation.
From the comic books.
I am to understand there is a comic book about that person.
Oh, yeah, we're going to be robbed by the Lightning Kid? Oh, all right. Well, Mr. Gutherson, I thought you had a serious piece of information to provide, but if you were going to be trying to waste the bank's time, then I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
Look here,
Marshals
sir.
And...
Look here, sir. Elijah Smythe has made it clear that he intends to rob this bank and will not worry about taking the lives of hostages. I really must insist that you rid the bank of any unnecessary folk and arm up all other folk. I would be happy to assist in the defense of the bank should you require it. I would be more than happy to assist you with that.
There's something about the sort of flatness of your tone and the seriousness with which you talk that seems to give this man pause. Can you make a persuade check for me?
Yeah, I'd love to. This is Griff trying his best.
Griff's in his element.
Oop. That's Uh-oh.
Just a fail. Okay. So he kind of looks towards you and says, if you are truly in the company of marshals and sheriffs, then they will come to me and they will tell me the details of exactly what is occurring. And of course, if the sheriff comes and asks me to close, then the marshal will stop him because the sheriff cannot ask me to close. The marshal knows that. It is the law.
All right, I'm gonna now I'm gonna get angry.
All right.
Good.
I'm gonna slap my hands down on the table and say, "You don't know what you're doing. These aren't to be trifled with. This isn't a game. These people mean death and destruction. I got half a mind to say they don't even care about the money. They just want to kill people and they just want to rape people through the mud. Listen to me, or you will regret it."
Can you make an intimidate check?
Yeah.
Now? And this is going to be functionally you push.
Pushing,
pushing with intimidate. Yeah.
And this is going to go badly. Yep.
Yep.
It
All
did.
right.
It went badly.
So,
Good.
The man's face kind of it just falls as flat as yours, and he says, "You're saying these people don't care about money? They just care about killing people?" Well,
That's exactly what I said.
I don't care if they're killing people. I care about the money. We're not closing. Get out, or we'll make you get out. And the big guy kind of steps forward, and stands.
Griff will stand up, and for a second, it'll be like he stands up suddenly, and is like, there's tense and electricity in the air as there's like, oh shit, what's happening? And then he'll turn and push through the door and
They-
leave the way he came.
Both draw back. They do
Yeah.
seem nervous, but you spin around and quickly you're making your way out. Now, while this is happening, while Griff, you have been arguing with Parker, and while Mac and Doc, the two of you have been heading in towards the bank, you can see the nice building set up. You also both passed by the boxing ring, and you can see that, and you can see the Silver Shaft Saloon. People outside are playing Faro, which is a card game local to the area. It's nice, it's calm, but inside, something else has happened. Basically, the moment that Griff stepped away, Brees, you began flicking a coin, and you hear a voice next to you say, "Man, well, he was a little angry, wasn't he?"
Yeah, he's just had a rough day, and there's a lot going on.
You turn sideways, and you see the Lightning Kid is standing next to you. Lank hair hanging about. You recognize him because you've seen this picture, but no one else would. He looks nothing like any comic book that he's ever been in. He's standing in the bank looking entirely calm. You can see his clothes are torn and dirty. His coat is as weird and as strange as Max is. The only thing that stands out about him is that you can see one of his pistols tucked into his side. You can see that the aim on it and has been filed completely off to help with draw speed, and it looks like that dragons, like Chinese style dragons, have been carved into the handle in this sort of very ornate way, and he's standing there looking incredibly bored.
The coin that I flicked up goes right past my hand and tumbles to the ground without being
He
caught.
catches it.
And I go,
hands it
"You're
back
the
to you.
Lightning Kid."
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. Reckon you're one of the people we're, hunting, right?
I reckon we are.
Mm-hmm.
So you're in the company of a villain by the name of Smythe, is that right?
Oh, something like that. Listen, kid, you look like a nice sort, and I'll let you know you can head out of this. Boss just wants Gutherson. We don't need anything from you.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but Mr. Gutherson and all the people of this bank are currently under my protection. And if you try anything, I'll put you down.
He nods once or twice, and he says, "Look, kid, I see myself in you. Can I say that? I reckon you got a bunch of comic books yourself one day. I can tell by the way you stand, and I heard about you. I heard the way they wrote about you. You a gunslinger or some sort of aspiring. But I can also just tell, kid, I'm so much better than you. I don't mean, I'm not being facetious or nothing. If you try anything, I'll shoot you dead. So I'm just one master of the craft to another. Just don't try it. Come on. We're not doing anything today anyhow. Let's just go our separate ways, hey?"
There ain't nothing aspiring about me. I outshot some elder bullshit running at me that couldn't be killed. And I'm telling you, even if you manage to outdraw me, I'll put a bullet in you, and you're gonna need more bullets than you got in that pistol to take down Griff, because he's gonna charge at you, plant his axe square between your eyes.
I
So
only
step
keep one
out of,
bullet in my pistol.
step away, go back outside. You can deal with this somewhere where there ain't citizens, people liable to be injured.
He'll look towards you. Do you want to make an intimidate or persuade here, or are you just sort of saying this to
I can make an.
to him?
Yeah, I think an intimidate is suitable. I'm not particular in. Oh
It doesn't sound like you're persuading, though.
Yeah.
no, I think I'm intimidating. No, I forgot. I'm actually all right at intimidation.
All right.
Not great at it, but I have points.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, you're 19 points away from 21.
Nah.
Okay, fantastic.
It always worries me when a GM says that.
All right. Good to know.
What?
Nice roll, dickhead. He fumbles and shoots his foot.
allow me to reference that later. You can't fumble with a skill of over 100 unless you roll a 100. He nods and he goes, all right. Well, I'll see you later then. But I delivered you the warning. Next time we meet, I'm going to put a bullet in you if you're with Gutherson.
Be seeing you.
Turns, and he strolls out.
He ain't as charismatic as the comics make him out to be.
Not even nearly. You stand by. A second later, Griff is going to come bursting out, followed by Parker. The two of you now, Mac and Doc, are going to be walking up the stairs to the bank when both of you see the Lightning Kid strolling out. He tips his hat towards you both and says, howdy, and then turns and starts strolling down, heading out of town. You both recognize him. You've seen the pictures early enough. He's walking away. He's still walking away.
There a sheriff's deputy nearby? They started taking out the bank?
Not that you can make a spot hidden check.
Well, okay.
Glance around.
You'll have to spot them immediately. You don't know what these people look like. You have to find the
but
badge.
they're
There's
hiding.
one over there. There's one over there.
All right, I'll go grab him and say if you can get a message to stop that man from leaving town. It's going to save some trouble later.
Okay.
But, don't try to outgun him.
So you want me to run and deliver a message, or you want me to stop him?
Well, deliver a message to stop him. Stop him from leaving town. Get your friends to help, but don't try to outdraw him.
Okay. He sort of runs and you see him spot someone else, and then he's darted off, and the collection of you are now on the steps of the bank outside, and you can see that figure step down. He heads towards the boxing ring and into the crowd there.
All right, let's meet up with the folks inside, but we want to get back to the kid. Something's about to go down.
Okay.
Do I emerge? From
Yeah,
the-
I think
all-
you're
all have it
muted,
together
Art.
now.
Sorry.
You all are now on the steps of the bank together. So you emerge.
Okay.
You come
So
out.
I emerge and I'm in a huff and I say like, this bank manager doesn't know what's good for him. He's cruel, idiot, dumb.
Are they going to close it?
No, he doesn't want to close the bank.
Well, I mean, that was the Lightning Kid heading on that way, so they're definitely going to hit it.
I'll have a word with the manager, but y'all want him to maybe stop him from leaving town. Deputy's going to do the same.
Lightning Kid, well, he may. That's going to be a risk. From what I hear, he is a mighty good shot.
Griff, Grease, it's about now you will notice that your gun has been stolen.
What?
With a sleight of hand of over 100, 97 is a success. He has taken your gun. Unlucky, but you kind of pat down at your sides and you realize you've been robbed.
What
I
a
saw
dick.
The Lightning Kid as he left, yes?
Yes.
Which way you go?
Can I tell by his demeanor whether he is because obviously the conversation he had with Grease was inside, but it sounded like he wasn't going to start anything. So I'm wondering whether Doc worked that out from his demeanor as he's walking through the crowd.
Yeah. You can make a psychology test to try and pick. He looked pretty calm. He at the surface. Psychology. What am I doing? Asking you to make a Yes,
there we go.
fantastic. Yeah. He looked pretty relaxed. He didn't look like he was heading to cause any trouble.
In that case, I might turn around and be like, Mac, Marshall, I don't get the feeling he is planning on starting anything. I don't know if we need to worry about him right now.
Well, at the very least, we want to know where he's going. Look, I'll talk to the manager if Griff didn't have much success, but I want to know where he's going.
All right, I'm gonna go follow him. I want to see where he's headed. I'll take off and head in the vague direction of where he went. I understand he went to the boxing ring and into the crowd.
All right. I'll get you to make a track check. I'll get you to make a hard track check because you are moving through a crowd of people in a crowded city.
That is more than reasonable. Do you want me to make that now? Yep.
Yeah, please do. What about the rest of you?
Heading in to talk to the manager.
Okay, you're going to head into a talk to the manager. Grease.
What, Doc? What are you doing?
I mean, I probably stand on the steps momentarily, looking a bit like, the fuck am I meant to do now? And then probably start heading into the bank with Mac.
All right. I like put my head in and going, follow after Griff.
Alright.
Can't break up the dream team.
This has just been Grace following Griff around as Griff yells at people and gets in trouble. He's trying to get him out of it.
Absolutely. Okay. So you start bursting through as best as you can, looking, but there's not a good trail. Can I encourage you to push or luck this?
Oh, hell yeah, I'll push it.
Okay.
Oh shit, I need a hard success.
Push.
You will need a hard success. So for this is going to be, you're going to start you're slapping people aside, shoving through the crowd, clearly being belligerent, which you already were. So
you know what? I'm
what's
happy
new?
to do that. I'll make a few enemies and potentially fail this strategy.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna push it. Oh,
well done.
Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. So, look, with anything else, with a hard success, you would have been able to maybe track this person down. With an extreme success, you managed to figure out the route they're taking towards the outskirts of the town. And as the two of you are standing by, you suddenly dart off, Griff. You're weaving through the crowd and pointing. You know exactly where this person is going to be. You can see that they appear to have outwoven any sheriff's deputies sent to pursue them. If you two pursue, it will be just the two of you pursuing.
Is it possible? Can I get to the edge of town and see him?
You mean,
or is he too far away?
No. You can catch up to him with an extreme success. You can cut him off.
I think what I want to do is shoot him without him noticing.
Okay.
I'm not. To quote a phrase, I'm not fucking around.
Okay.
Not here to fuck spiders.
Yeah. I ideally, what I want to do is track him through the buildings and stuff, and then.
Yep.
Get to the edge of town, and at the edge of town, I assume it's a vast flat plain going out. I can just see a figure walking away, or maybe he's got a horse or something, and I can set up a long shot and see if I can pick him off from a distance.
Absolutely.
Where I feel like he can do the least amount of harm.
All right. All of that sounds absolutely perfect. So you weave in and you start tearing through. Grease, you can see Griff shoulder off his gun and start sprinting through to the edge of the town. You following along?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Okay. Perfect. So we'll jump across the bank for a second. The two of you step inside and you can see Parker, looking aggravated. As he sees you come in wearing a marshal's badge, he does get a little bit of okay, this is serious. He walks towards you and is going to motion you straight through without saying anything, the both of you, into his little side room. And as you both step in, he turns around and says, I think I met two of your associates. So just moments ago.
You did. So when are you closing?
Closing? Marshall, the law. Closing a bank is an enormous. There's money in here that people have the right to.
They have the right to their lives too.
Can you make an intimidate check, and can you use your bonus die?
My bonus die? Why would I get a bonus? My pulp talent, outstanding. A regular success or a critical failure.
Okay,
I like how it said that, but no information.
That is weird, yeah.
I would re-roll it. I would ignore that. I think
that seems like a bug. I'm just gonna roll a regular.
Maybe that's what it does.
But a 52 can't become a critical failure. It
can
become a 92
you're
or
right.
worse.
Touche.
All right, so either 52 or a 12.
Well done.
The way you talk chills him to the bone as you kind of lean forward and well, we can close today if that's what you want. Maybe even at the end of the day. No, we'll close right away. Under your supervision, he's going to move out and he's going to start closing everything down.
What kind of defenses you got? You got firearms in here?
No, we have a guard and we have another one down by the vault. But that's about it. We don't. We
Listen,
call the
sure.
sheriff if something happens.
I've taken the liberty. There'll be deputies on watch.
Okay. Yes, sir. Can I go? I don't want to get shot in no gunfight.
Suppose you're not much help around here.
Oh, all right. So he's going to make himself scarce as quickly as he can. And as the two of you begin to lock everything down, Doc, is there anything particular you want to do here? You can probably find a corner and continue your research if you'd like. It looks like this is going to be sort of progressing into a siege sort of situation.
Are we intending to stay in this bank when they come calling, or are we locking it down so there ain't no people for them to get?
Yeah, the safety of the customers. If we can clear that out, then at least no one's going to get hurt who didn't want to be here. In the meantime, I suppose it makes sense if we want to stake out the place ourselves.
Right. I am gonna go find the most sort of defensible place I can locate in the front part of the bank and just start making myself comfortable. Like, reminiscent of one of our session 0.5 games where I think I hid behind a bar and was like, I have a doctor's bag. This is me now. I live here.
I'll be here.
And then I am going to probably, from my bag, either pull out one of those devices and start looking at it, or my notebook, and just settle on down.
Okay, perfect. Great. We will jump across now. I want to hear from the two of you. Griff, you were tearing through. Are you trying to not let this person know that you are pursuing, or do you not care?
No, I think I'm trying to be a little bit stealthier.
Okay.
And just because otherwise he might change his patterns or something. I'm stalking him as you would stalk an animal. So yeah,
Sure.
I think I'm happy to roll a stealth check if you would like me to.
I would like you to roll a stealth check. Now, he is hurrying to the edge of town, and you are tracking him. And there are two of you. So I think this is going to be...
Do you want just each of us to roll a stealth check?
Yeah, both of you are going to need to
fail.
Both of you are going to need to make a stealth check.
I'm not going to stealth.
Yeah.
As Griff begins to sneak away, I'm going to dart across one street and then run as fast as I can to try and catch up with him, so that I hopefully come up and I just go straight at him.
Sure. So you make a stealth check, and you make a dexterity check. Sorry, Griff, you make a stealth check. Grace, you make a dexterity check. I'm pointing at screens on my computer.
I'm lucking that.
Okay.
So I lucked that down to a success.
Okay, you're creeping through and you manage to get yourself, you find a spot at the edge of town as this figure is approaching the edge of town. Meanwhile, you're tearing through, darting past people, Grease, and suddenly you're out on a main street, walking towards the very edge of shade, and you can see sort of lanky, greasy lightning kid strolling along. He sort of turns around because you're not stealthing and you suddenly burst through at a run, and looks towards you. He's wide-eyed. He's got sort of bulbousy eyes, and he nods as you approach, and says, "Can't keep you away from me, can I? What do you want?"
I mean, I reckon it's real cool how you only keep one bullet in your pistol, but I don't even keep a gun in my holster.
He kind of looks towards you and he tilts his head. What are you saying?
Oh, I'm accusing you of thievery and of being an unfair cheat.
I took your gun, if that's what you're asking. I was trying to, well, encourage you, demonstrate that you're not at my tier.
I mean,
if you want it back, if you want to jewel me, there'll be time aplenty for that, but let's not do it now. I'm going to pull out your gun and I'm going to put it down on the ground. You can take it back. And he takes out your gun and he'll toss it down on the sand in front of you at your feet.
As he turns to leave, out of the corner of my eye, I try to spot Griff somewhere, hopefully aiming a very large gun at this man's head, and then I try to stall for a little more time.
You do spot Griff tearing around and arriving and sort of setting up, beginning to take aim. Griff, you set down your rifle, you're aiming down the sights, and you can see this figure now. He's standing still. Your breathing slowing. You're staring towards the kid.
I would really like... Oh, yeah, no.
No, you go. You go.
Okay, I was gonna say I would really like to take my time with this and aim as best I can, but to do that, I'm gonna need Grease to. Yeah, okay.
I got you. All right. As he puts the gun down, I'm gonna say, nah, I don't need it. See, I told you I already outdrew something that can't be killed, and I reckon I can outshoot you without a pistol. And I hold my hands like over my empty holster, and I go, on the count of 3. Draw.
Okay. He looks towards you and he says, "That ain't a joke. You say that one more time, I'm doing it."
On the count of 3, draw, coward. 3.
Okay.
2.
I want you to make a fast talk check. You're trying to deceive him actively.
Yeah, he is definitely.
I will spend all of my luck on this. This is all I want. Oh, yes, baby!
It's happening! It's happening!
Oh my god!
All right, and he spins around.
This is the best!
This is the best!
Now I'm going to give you 2 options here. This is fantastic. So you're aiming, you're standing down. People have now spotted the 2 of you in the middle of the street. A clearer duel is happening. Mac and Doc, the 2 of you are setting up. Unfortunately, you will not witness this wonderful event. But as we jump across, Griff, we can do this one of 2 ways mechanically. The first is you can crack off a shot, and it will just be a shot, and you'll be making that single shot. Otherwise, you can go through and you will take. We can start a round of combat, and it will be a normal round of combat with all 3 of you participating. You will have the readied weapon bonus if you want it. He will get the readied weapon bonus, and whoever shoots first will shoot first. But you will get a bonus die because you have aimed the previous turn. So,
I see. So if we do it in combat, I get the bonus die.
Yes, but if he has crazy high dex and
no fucking way. I'm not doing this with honor.
All right.
This is not a like.
You're only getting 1 shot though.
Clear.
No bonus.
Don't miss.
This is essentially. I think this is essentially me firing when Grease says 2.
Okay.
No.
No.
You can use luck on attack rolls.
Yeah. I think
look,
I'm not giving him the chance to draw.
Give him the
especially
chance.
not on Grace.
All right. So 3, 2, bang. An enormous rippling echo rings out. People cover their ears and dive backwards, and you can see just a slight twitch in the Lightning Kid's eyes. Years of experience, and he realizes he's been duped. He realizes he's forgotten something.
Son of a bitch. Better start chewing through luck, matey.
I'm gonna chew through luck. I would like to chew through.
I need to.
What do you guys feel about me chewing through 70 points of luck?
I personally am hella here for it.
Yes.
It's not
But just
Smythe.
remember, there's Smythe next. That would be extreme.
Extreme success.
I look at the last minute. The wind shifts or something, and just the instinct tells me to fire a little bit to the left, and I will chew through 70 points of luck.
Oh, you beauty!
What?
And I will get an extreme success.
What are you doing?
Extreme success.
What's your damage look like on
Burn
that?
through 70 points of luck, and with your buffalo rifle, are going to hit the Lightning Kid.
Yeah. I'm just gonna roll the weapon. Oh. What does it do? Does it triple
Full
the
damage?
double the
Full damage,
Full damage,
plus
and
you
then you
roll
roll.
everything and add it.
Oh, okay. Then I will just roll 3d6. So it is 12, 6, 18 plus 13 for
31?
31 damage.
31 damage.
Yikes.
Walk away from that, you
That-
piece of shit.
Just incredible. So let me tell you his health. You want to take a guess?
11.
I assume it's around
He's-
11. Or
He's some
something.
kind of he's some kind of eldritch being with 90 hit points.
Oh, maybe he is, but I don't know. Humans could sometimes just be better at things.
Bullet fires through, hits him in the back of the head, and his head explodes, and his body falls forward, and he lies still in the middle of the street. And you are showered with blood.
And I'm
Grace.
standing as the dust. I've got my hand out like it's holding a pistol.
Yeah.
I blow it. And I holster it.
And I think that's the perfect note to end on.
Hell
so
yeah.
we can finish the stream there, but for one little preview, I would like, Griff, as you stand up and you pull your weapon back up and begin to move forward, heading back to see what the result was, to make a spot hidden check.
Okay, we'll make a spot hidden check. I cannot tell if that's the smartest thing I've ever done or the dumbest.
That was
And I
the
know
greatest
answer.
thing that's ever happened.
I got a success on my spot hidden.
Okay, fantastic. With a regular, can I encourage you to boost this to an extreme by spending some more luck?
Fuck it, why not? Like,
Why?
How much do you
no,
have?
I can't
It's
afford. No, I've only got 20 left. I can't afford it.
Can you
I actually can't. I'm sorry, man.
No, it only cost you 12.
12 of 20, mate. Like, I don't want to.
You can get a hard with 2 points.
I'm looking for an extreme.
Yeah, no, I can't afford
In
it.
which case,
As in, I don't want to. I
Yeah,
can't.
yeah.
I just don't want to.
you don't spot standing. One of the crowd that sort of covered their ears looks up, and for a second you see the same greasy, lanky skin, hanging hair, and wide eyes as the good gunslinger on their face. They glance towards you and they quickly make their way off. It's not the same person, but it's someone similar. Someone who looks almost identical, and there's an almost familial resemblance. A resemblance that comes from both of them hailing far from the east, specifically from a town called Innsmouth in Massachusetts. And there are more of them. And far in the mountains, more of them are chanting, and they are singing the name of a great being that they wish to awaken. They are aware of what you have done, and you are playing into their hand. Thanks very much. All right. That's it.
If they expected that, I will be astonished.
Remember this moment.
just
We're going
as
to come
we
back to it at the.
thought.
We're going to come
Yeah.
back to it at the end of the campaign.
Mhm.
I'm
Also, like,
I always seem to do this. I always
No.
play into the enemy's
No.
no.
hands.
This was
Never
this was
apologize. That was
I feel
tremendous.
That was great. I loved it.
this game, the only experience with Lovecraft is Mansions of Madness, and there is a entire thing in there where you go to Innsmouth. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
I am horrified. Ah.
This is bad news bears.
Yeah.
All right.
That was a lot of fun.
Thank you very
Well
much,
done.
Jim.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Art. Thank you, David. Thank you, Jackson.
Thank you,
Thank
Mitch.
you, Daniel. You're all amazing. And thank you to all our viewers. Remember, you can subscribe to the Twitch channel and follow the Twitch channel. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and you can check out all of our previous games there. And you can come back in a couple of days, Saturday night, specifically Australian time, when we run the White Bull, which is a RuneQuest campaign. And I say we run, Chaosium runs. It is run by Jeff Richard and features wonderful players there. So tune in and we'll see you next week.
Adios.
Thanks.